Hello, children. This is Aarti. I am here to give a brief story of the lesson Bepin Choudhury's Lapse of Memory, which was written by Satyajit Ray. This is a humorous story about a man named Bepin Choudhury who was made to think that he had completely lost his memory. The characters are Bepin Choudhury, Chuni Babu, a friend of Bepin Choudhury, Mr. Dinesh Mukherjee, a friend of Bepin Babu, Mr. Parimal Ghosh, a friend of Chuni Babu, Dr. Paresh Chanda, a doctor. Here is a story. Bepin Choudhury lived all alone and had few friends. He used to read books to pass his time. He was fond of reading crime stories, ghost stories, and thrillers. Every Monday, he visited a shop in a new market to buy books. One Monday, he found a man looking strangely towards him. He seemed surprised that Bepin Babu had not recognized him. He reminded Bepin of his Ranchi visit in 1958. He introduced himself as Parimal Ghosh and said that he was also with him. But Bepin had never been to Ranchi. He tried to convince Mr. Ghosh of this, but he would not agree. He told Bepin Babu many details of his private life and claimed that he himself had told him all these things. He also narrated some incidents of the journey. Bepin Babu left the shop and tried to forget all about Mr. Ghosh, but to no use. The man seemed to know some intimate details like the bag of books, his wife's death, his brother's insanity, and so on. But Bepin was dead sure that he'd never visited Ranchi in all his life. Parimal Ghosh had also said that Mr. Dinesh Mukherjee was in Ranchi at that time. Bepin Babu knew him well, so he thought of going to him. But thinking that he had never been his well-wisher, he suspended the idea. The next day in his office, the incident again came to his mind. He rang up Dinesh. To his surprise, Dinesh too confirmed his visit to Ranchi. In despair, Bepin Babu slammed the receiver and held his head with his hands. Bepin Babu had a reputation for being a tireless worker in his firm, but that day he was feeling tired and giddy. He left his office and came home. When he lay in his bed, his servant told him that Chuni Babu wanted to see him. Though Bepin was not in a position to talk to him, he hurried down the stairs. He asked him if he remembered something about his trip to Ranchi. Chunilal confirmed the facts in such a manner that it struck him like a hammer. Bepin Babu sighed and shook his head. He decided to visit a specialist, Dr. Paresh Chanda. After listening to his problem, Dr. Chanda said that he must have been to Ranchi, but due to some reason, the entire incident had slipped out of his mind. He suggested Bepin Babu to go to Ranchi once again. The sight of the place might remind him of the trip. Bepin Babu, as suggested by the doctor, undertook a visit to Ranchi. He went from place to place, but nothing came to his mind. His head was getting burdened, and he felt more sure that he had never been there. So he fell down unconscious and came to himself only in the evening, when he was discovered by a group of picnickers. Next morning, Bepin Babu was back home. He was totally hopeless. He realized that he was going to lose his balance of mind. He immediately called Dr. Chanda. Then after a shower, he got into bed. Just then, he received a letter from Chunilal. After reading it, he came to understand the entire episode. It was all planned by Chunilal, who wanted to punish him for his unfeeling behavior. Now all the tension of Bepin Babu was gone. So when Dr. Chanda came, he invented a funny excuses. He said that he was fine. He had sent for him only for painkiller as his hip was in pain due to a fall in Ranchi. So, forgetfulness often puts us in a tight spot. but forgetting a part of one's life completely may drive one insane. In the story, our protagonist is troubled at his selective lapse of memory. He is a target of the conspiracy, which is a humorous take after all. Thank you.